Hey, folks, this is going to be a weird episode. Nothing necessarily to do with financial planning. But I've been getting a number of comments on YouTube that some just break your heart. Some actually make you tear up because my topic on Social Security and divorcees, some of the stuff that people are writing, it just is fantastic. It's wonderful. One in particular today said, "I can't tell you how much I needed to see this." And while that makes me feel good, it absolutely makes me feel good. Something I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to do this for a long time, and I'm going to ask for your help here. I've always thought it'd be incredibly interesting to just go up to 25, 50 random people at the bus stop, at the airport, walking around town, something like that, and just have them share with me their story. It's always something I've wanted to do, but it just seemed like it'd be kind of weird to just approach some guy in the chow hall or something like that and say, "Hey, tell me your story." And so I didn't know how to do that. And so I was out there mowing the lawn today, and after getting one of these YouTube comments, I said, I'm just going to ask people, and they can self-select if they want to share their story with me. We can get on the horn, I'll send you a link that we can record. And obviously you don't have to do it. I thought it'd be interesting. And what I'd ultimately like to do, I'd like to write a book, say 20, 25 examples, something like that. I don't know. Just of who you are. We can put it in audio. We can have it on a book. I'll upload it here to YouTube. It doesn't have to be visual. In fact, I find if I have a visual talking on YouTube or on a conference call, I don't get nearly as effective as just doing it without the visual. The visual aid actually, it hurts, it disrupts my ability to ask the question I want to ask. And it has nothing to do other than just saying who you are, what's your background, where you're from. And another reason this came up because I was watching this guy. He's from Africa today. He helped me immensely on a YouTube channel, on his YouTube channel, on an issue I was having with a pop-up on my website, heritagewealthplanning.com. And I didn't know this guy, and who knows who this guy is, but he just posted this thing on YouTube, and it helped me immensely. And how awesome is that? Just humanity, I love it. I just have. And, I'm a Christian man. I believe that Jesus died for all. You don't have to believe that. It's completely up to you. But at the end of the day, that's when it's hard to be hateful when you see the good on individuals. It's easy to hate a group of people. It's hard to hate an individual, though. And when you think about what Jesus has done for us, he died for individuals. He did not die for groups of people. He died for you, and he died for me as an individual. And you got to fight the anger and resentment that can kind of build up inside. And everyone has a different background. And so, but it's tough. It takes a challenge to fight that back. And it is challenging, especially in this day and age when social media is just full of a cesspool of angry, hateful people. And anyway, so if you're interested, just email me, and I'll put show notes on here about this. I'm going to gather up, and I'll probably gather up a number of people who might be interested first before I do anything. But I'll share my story on this. But it's not about me. It will be ultimately about my story, just kind of kick it off. But I just think it'd be interesting. Who's watching this? And I think the title would be Stories from You ... tube, if that makes sense. Stories from You ... tube, because it is your story and my story, found through YouTube. How cool would that be? And again, so I don't know how personal it would be, but I'd like to, where you're from. I'm from Maine originally. I won't get into it here, but I'll share certainly the important stuff that I would want almost, my kids and grandkids and people to read about. I just think it's important as a humanity to realize that everyone has a different background, but ultimately we're all kind of doing the same thing, which is trying to better our lives for us and our children. I don't know. Something just hit me. And this one lady, I don't know her name. I hope she is watching this, but really it made me kind of tear up, to be honest. I've always been kind of an emotional guy. I think it's the Irish in me, frankly. I do have some German in there too. So the German part says, stoic, the Irish parts be, go crazy. But I'm hoping that whoever that person was, that her thing is, I'm so glad I found this video today. I'm just hoping that she realizes that it really made an impact on me. And lots of other comments too. I can't tell you some of these other comments, just how enlightening it is to help people. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. Could not ask for more. And I think the book, I don't know how big. I don't know. It's easy. See, the thing with writing books nowadays, it's easy to do. You can do Kindle. You can put it out there for free, Kindle Unlimited. It's easy to do an ebook. Ultimately, I still like to have a real book, though. I got my books, right here, but these are small. They don't even have, I forgot what they call that, the side thing. But they don't even have that because they're so small. It's only 50, 85 pages, something like that. I'd like this book about your story and my story. Let's just say we have 20. I don't know. I'm just using that example. And I literally have no clue how many pages it would be, but I'd like to have the thing right there that says, stories from you, ... tube, that someone could see that. And I don't know, maybe if we sell it, maybe raise money for the Dyslexia Association or something like that. I'm just thinking out loud. I haven't thought that through yet. I do think dyslexia affects a lot more kids than people realize, frankly. And I think it actually hurts kids who don't understand that they have dyslexia, and they'll lash out and go down a bad path because they didn't know they weren't educated correctly, because the school doesn't realize what dyslexia is. And having a dyslexic kid who was just in pain going to school as a young boy too. Thankfully, we had the financial resources to get him tested. It cost $1,500, but it's the best money we ever spent. And I just think about all those poor kids like in South Fulton County, without a dad, don't have the mom's working 2 jobs, and they got a brother, sister, and they can't read because they have dyslexia, and no one knows it, and the school just doesn't recognize it. And if we could get some kids tested, man. My little boy now, he's not little, he's 11 years old. I got 4 kids, by the way, but he is tearing it up. He just read like Harry Potter, these 800-page Harry Potter books, and over the summer, even though we're starting to go back to school tomorrow. And I'm telling you, it's 4 or 5 years ago, it was like pulling teeth to get him to go to school. He did not want anything to do with going to school because he couldn't read. Literally, he could not read. He's going to 1st grade at a brand new school here in Georgia. He could not read. And all his, he didn't have any friends, but he knew what was going to happen. He was going to go to school without the ability to read and feel like a fool. A brand new school, just as horrible. So it was a challenge, and we got him tested, thankfully, because like I said, we had the financial ability to afford that, and we got him a tutor, Orton Gillingham tutor for multi-sensory learning, MSL. And it changed everything, changed his life without question. And I just think about all those kids that are going to lash out because they haven't been taught how to read. And when a young boy in particular gets frustrated, he lashes out. I know that for a fact, having done that myself as a young boy. And I don't know what girls do. My inclination is girls probably they probably sit back and don't want to be noticed. They get nervous about being noticed because they feel that they'll be looked at negatively. And so anyway, so if we end up doing this and raising some money, I'd like to do it to donate to a dyslexic organization of some sort. And again, I'm literally just thinking this through, but it's actually pretty important to me, and nothing else is interesting. Like, who is this lady who just posted on my YouTube channel that she is glad to found it and it really helped her? What's her background? I don't need to know. I don't need to know ex-husband's name or anything like that. But where'd you start off? In Lafayette, Louisiana, and you built your way up. I have no idea. But how interesting would that be? Just the people that you see and what their stories are. Where I'm from is from Peaks Island, Maine. It's a small island off the coast of Portland, Maine. And back then in the 70s, I didn't know this, but they called it Welfare Island because all these hippies would move there and live off food stamps. And so I don't have it. One of these days I'll get it. But we used to have this orange and purple money that I would take to the store. And some of the kids down there would make fun of you because they said that's not real money. And what you could do is actually pretty funny. You take it to the store. If you had like a $5 food stamp and you bought something for like 22 cents, you get $4 in food stamps. If they had the $4 in food stamps, but you get quarters, and we'd take the quarters. Or I'd take the quarters. We had this little arcade game down there, and you could play. It was Galaga. I love Galaga. So that was the only way I could get quarters, by trading this food stamp. Don't tell my mom, but I used to steal it from her purse, which is anyway. So I'd take it from her purse, go down the store. Turned it in for like 22 cents or whatever, because that back then a can of soda was like 25 cents, and you get real money back. And sometimes the store, because we only had one store, Feeney's on Peaks Island, Maine, we only had one store, and sometimes they didn't have the food stamp dollars to get back to you, so they have to give you hard cash. And that was like, oh man, you're in the heaven there, because then you could go trade those hard dollars for quarters to go play the video games. down at was a store, a restaurant called Jones's Landing. So on Peaks Island, you had Feeney's, which is the only grocery store, Five and Dime or whatever they called back in the day. And then they had Jones's Landing, which is like a pizza place, and you had like 3 or 4 video games. And it was awesome because, like I said, that was the only time I'd be able to get money in order to play those video games. So that's pretty cool. I like that story. And I'm sure you have something like that, too, that you'd like to share. And I think it'd be interesting. So, all right. So I'll put more show notes in here. I know it's kind of silly, but I think it'd be cool. And on occasion, I'll gather these up for sure if people are interested in that. And I'll reach out to you. Well, again, just reach out to me at my email, which is josh@heritagewealthplanning.com. Again, I'll put it in the thing here, but josh@heritagewealthplanning.com. Just say you'd like to be on the thing here. Nothing fancy. We'll figure out a time when to talk and just go from there. And I think it'd be cool. Absolutely. So we'll see what happens, where this goes. And, who knows? Maybe we can raise some money for the dyslexic organization or something like that. No, we'll see. But anyway, thanks, guys. It's, again, an odd video topic, but something that I've been thinking about. And I've always wanted to do this, something like that. It just never occurred to me until just today to do it through YouTube. That way I don't have to go up to some random guy in a Home Depot who's searching for tools. I can just do it through YouTube. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks, now.